Hello and welcome to PM Personality Profile. My name is Nana Sakwa the Fourth, and as we all know, this is the best of all our PM series where we get to meet people and talk. But one question that I've always asked, and I'm sure you also wonder, is that what is it that we are running away from, drowning in the Atlantic? And yet the people whom we seem to be going are also rushing to come to the same place. It means there's something here that we don't see, yet they see. And that's the irony. Now I'm here to speak to a lady who has identified what it is that is here that these Europeans are coming for, that we are running away from. Mabel Akoto Cudjoe is one excellent farmer, and her life story would be a testimony and will change lives. And as I always say, at this time, get the children around the television, because by the time you walk away, you'd walk away different than you started the program. Mabel, thank you very much for inviting us to your home.
Thank you.
And I look forward to a beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
When we come back from the break, I'm talking to this wonderful farmer. Don't move. Well, thank you very much for staying, and this is the exciting bit. Before I just wanted to break, I told you this is the time that you want the young ones around the telly, because they're going to walk away better than they started the program. It's my exciting bit, and I'm here to talk to Mabel, and her life story would amaze you. But you know, before we get to her farming bit, let's go all the way back. Mabel comes from Akujo, so that's, you know, this is home. You're welcome, Mabel.
Thank you very much.
And I know you have a busy schedule, but at least we managed to get you, which is good. Mabel, I want to go all the way back to Akujo, but you're not. I know you come from Akujo, but you're not born there. Born in Accra?
I was born in Accra.
Which part? Tell me. I want to hear.
I was born at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and I'm the second of 3 siblings.
Okay.
And the first girl. Fortunately, I lost my brother in '93 at the age of 27.
No.
Yes, so we are now 2. My sister and myself. My sister is a doctor in UK.
Okay.
With the family. And I'm here with my old mom.
And then I know your growing up was within the Akosombo area. Yes. How come?
We left Accra in 1968 when the VRA project started, Akosombo Dam started. My dad was a civil engineer and was working with VRA. So I had all my childhood in Akosombo.
I see. Yes. That's my territory. That's my territory. And your dad comes from Akujo?
Yes, my dad is BGA Akuto.
Wow.
He was once the Ahini of Akujo.
I see. I mean, now that's very close. That's very close. So when Dad was alive, did you frequent Akujo?
Yes, we always attended every Akwesidai.
Wow. See, that's why they say you should always marry from home, because otherwise, you know, you lose the children. Now we lost one great woman. So, what school did you go to at Akujo?
I attended Akosombo International School.
Okay. From
nursery to class 6, where I sat my common entrance, and came to St. Mary's Secondary School, Kolegono.
Yeah, they're the girlfriends of Accra Academy. I see. And how was secondary school days?
Like coming from Akosombo, I'll say we were middle class. And then coming to the boarding house when I've never left home. So it was a bit trying for me, but I got used to the place. And I enjoy secondary school life.
It's always fun.
Yes,
it's always fun. And so, how about Mom? What did Mom do?
Mom is an English teacher. She's a graduate in English language. And an English examiner at the same time. He was with Akosombo International School, the secondary department. She rose to assistant headmistress before we relocated to Accra. She was with Laboni Secondary School as the head of the English department.
She sounds like a disciplinarian.
Very disciplined. She's very disciplined. that we don't even like it. I will always say that we don't like it. She never spared the rod, like the
Wow.
Bible said.
Is she calmer now in her old age? Or?
Yes, she's calmer. That talks a lot.
Hope she's not watching.
She talks a
I
lot.
hope she's not watching. Some of the fun memories between mom and your siblings. Share with us some of the
Oh,
fun
we had
memories.
our growing age was all fun. Waking up in the morning, mom has squeezed fresh orange juice. And then you have your toast, your cornflakes. You have your snack to take to school. And then you come back home, the food is ready. You have a time to have your nap. And then you wake up to do your homework. You have some cookies ready for you after homework. Then we had this Kippy, the bush kangaroo, at 6 o'clock. And we watched that. And by 7 we are in bed.
Wow.
And the fondest moment I always remember was when once one of the houseboys lit the rubbish, and our house was next to the Volta Hotel. I was by then 8 years, and it was during the dry season. So the fire spread quickly, and before we realized, the fire had touched the roof of the Volta Hotel. And instead of calling fire service, our parents were all indoors. Two of us, a friend of Mercy and I, we decided to pull the water hose from the house straight to where the fire was. Did not think about our safety at all. And we were able to quench that fire before the fire service came. And we started around 4, and we were able to put out this fire by 7. And and when my mom had soaked the cane, ready to whip us when we get into the house. Before we entered the house, the manager of the hotel came with the town manager. That we were Akujo firefighters. They just wanted us, picked us in the car, and sent us to the hotel for our dinner. And that is the best, which I always remember.
I see. So you were able to extinguish the fire?
Yes, we did that.
Wow, wow. And you got dinner?
Yes, out of that.
Out of that.
And the VRA newsletter that came out, we had our pictures, the frontage.
Heroes.
Yes. And then when I was, I think 3 years, they were launching the Akujo Queen.
Okay.
By the Volta Lake Transport.
Okay.
And I happened to be the one, Achampon was the president by then, to hold the pillow that contained the scissors to cut the tape.
Claim to fame, why
Yes.
not? Claim to fame, why not? So from St. Mary's, did you do any university here, or did you travel?
I traveled out of the country.
Okay.
I went to UK.
Okay.
To Croydon, precisely, to do a degree in child psychology, majoring in children with special needs. The autistic children, Down syndrome, mentally retarded.
Okay.
And that was part of the Montessori training.
Sure. Sure, because I know you were a Montessori teacher.
Yes.
So that's where it came from.
Yes.
So when you came down from the UK, you went straight into teaching?
I went straight into teaching. I taught at Soul Clinic International School for 12 years.
Oh.
And I left to Morning Glory Montessori for 5 years. And when I turned 40, I decided never to work for anybody. I need to start something on my own. So I started helping people living with HIV and AIDS. And I had a contract with Ghana AIDS Commission. And at that time, in my husband's hometown, they believed that anybody with HIV, as soon as you die, whatever dress you die in, you should be buried in that dress. And you were not sent to the cemetery, but you were sent to the evil forest. They had a place called the evil forest. So we had to go in quickly to change their mentality. And then those who had it by that time, they were being stigmatized. So we had to quickly go in. So we went in with this Bobobo cassettes that We were playing every Sunday. We had a mobile van going around to play the music. And I bet you it worked.
I see. So
It
they
really
come
worked.
around and then you...
Yes, we distribute leaflets. We talk to them that people with HIV are just unfortunate. Anybody can get the disease if you are not careful. So with that, as of now, there's no more stigmatization.
Wow.
And people living with HIV are taking their antiretroviral drugs. And by then we taught them how to be productive. So I went with this project of batik tie and dye. A lot of them graduated, and some of them are still living and doing the batik tie and dye, earning it as a living. So
Well, that's nice. At which point did your husband come in?
my husband came in 2009.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To help. He was working with Internal Revenue. He was their statistician.
No, I was talking about which one you met him.
Oh, okay, okay. I met him in 1988
Okay. In the UK or in Ghana?
in Ghana.
In Ghana.
And we got married when I came back in 1990.
I see.
So we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary.
Hey. Well, happy anniversary.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know you have 3 kids.
Yes, I have 3 boys.
3 boys. 3 boys.
The first one is just completing his medical school
Very well.
in January. The second one is in his 2nd year at the University College of Agriculture, Bumsu.
Okay.
The third one just completed his WASI and is also ready to do hospitality.
Okay. 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 Oh, that's nice. I mean, 3 boys. Is it a challenge with boys, or you find boys easier?
Oh, initially. But I had boys that I've never seen that kind of boys. The first one is so isolated, very quiet. The second one has his own kind of life. It's the third one who is the troublesome one, but I'm able to tame him.
So everybody has their own character.
Yes.
But, anyone takes after your farming, or do they love
The
your
second
farming?
one, he loves farming. He loves nature.
Wow.
He doesn't even want to kill a mosquito.
I see. I see. I see. I see. I see. But so you've been teaching for about 17 years.
Yes.
So if you wanted to do something different, I expect you will run your own IT center or run your own little nursery or somewhere. But the diversion, how did you get that diversion? Because I know you're a farmer, and we're going to show the products as we're going along. But first of all, how did you get that diversion?
I love farming. I was born a farmer.
Wow.
And I grew up in a surrounding where we always had backyard garden. Because our champon had that domestication operation, feed yourself. So we always had everything we wanted in the kitchen in our own backyard garden. And my father happened to be one of the pioneers of corn farms.
Okay.
So they had a lot of large rice fields, animal husbandry. And every weekend he was taking us there. So I grew very fond of farming. I grew up loving farming. So when I wanted to divert, I discussed it with my husband. And he said, "You can't farm." I said, I will try. I wanted to go to his village because the family has vast lands. He said, "They are going to kill you. Because I know whatever you do it to perfection. And they will not spare you. So if you are still interested in farming, I would advise you to go somewhere else." So I went to one of his friends in another Likpe village, and he said, "I'm ready to give you lands." So I had some money. I quickly gave it to his friend. He gave us lands. We planted maize, and the harvest was extraordinary. But then I had not thought of adding value. So I realized the middlemen were cheating us because it was too cheap for my liking. The second year, that was in 2006. I started in 2005. I added rice. That one we had a bumper harvest, although the acreage was just about 10 acres. Then
how many acres was the maize anyway?
it was 5 acres.
Okay.
Then 2007, unfortunately in March, just before the farming season, my husband was involved in an accident.
Sorry.
And he was broken from his waist down.
Wow.
So he had to be hung in Kolibu for almost a year. So I had to stop that farming just to look after him, the hospital, until he got better. Then he had to go for physiotherapy. I said, well, this year I'm going into farming again. So you can do your physiotherapy on the farm. He agreed. And we did the rice farm. And although he was with walking stick, he was on the farm all over every day. And that worked.
I see.
So he decided he was not going to work for any government. He would go strictly to what I was doing. So he came to join me in 2008. And in 2009, we did a bigger farm. It was 50 acres of rice and 10 acres of maize. And it was amazing. But still I realized that I was being cheated by middlemen. So in 2009, I said I was going to process. I'll add value to whatever I am doing. And he knows me that whatever I begin, I do it very well to the end. So we started with our processing of the rice and the maize, and it was fantastic. And everybody realized what we were doing. But at that time, people were not aware of brown rice. And I had seen brown rice, ate brown rice, and saw its medicinal properties. So I tried promoting it, but the packaging was very bad at that time. So there was no way people were interested in buying the rice. So in 2009, an uncle of mine came from UK, saw our packaging and said he wants us to launch our products officially so that the patronage will go up. So we did the launching at the trade fair.
Okay.
And he went back.
This was 2009.
He went back and he decided to do some artwork on the new packaging that will meet all international standards. And in 2010, we had our packaging. And this packaging, these are vacuum bags that has a shelf life for 5 years. So your products can be in this packaging and it will still remain very fresh for 5 years. And
vacuum packed?
Yes, they are vacuum packed. And I've never regretted going into farming because now I'm planting, producing, I'm processing, and I'm packaging it to international standards. And I've given employment to 32 permanent workers.
Wow.
And everything, my rice, there's not a single stone because we destone from destoning to grading. That is how we do our processing.
Destoning
to grading.
To grading.
So our rice matches any foreign rice. Unfortunately, I don't have our jasmine rice yet. That is naturally perfumed. The seed itself is a perfumed rice.
Wow. And you're planting them here?
Yes, we are planting them here. And as of today, I have 1,352 outgrower farmers.
They come and take the seeds?
They take the seed, we plow for them, we teach them, do capacity building for them before every season, beginning of every season. They plant, we monitor their farms. At harvest time, we help them with the harvesting. And then we take our recovery, not in cash, but in kind.
Okay.
And then if they need money and they are ready to sell the rest of their produce to us, we buy it.
Wow.
And as I now have a cocoa farm too. I have a 100-acre cocoa farm.
This is an iron lady.
Yes.
And it's all. So where have you been? Why have you been all this quiet?
Yes, I don't want to come out because I will not be able to meet the demand.
No, but somebody needs to hear your testimony because there are people, I mean, these people drowning in the Atlantic, as I was saying in my intro, there are people running away from Africa because they think it's all done. And there's you looking for more land to plant more stuff.
Yes.
100-acre cocoa farm.
Yes, 100-acre, and we hope to start harvesting this year. And I don't want to sell the beans to the government.
I was just going to say, are you going to give the beans out?
I want to process it myself. So I'm looking for an investor that will come solely for the cocoa, will help us process it, get our own cocoa butter, everything. So that will help the government.
So, you want to do like cocoa butter? How about the drinks, or you want to go more into the cosmetics?
No, we'll do the cosmetics and do the drinks, the Milo type.
Oh, yeah.
The natural bitter cocoa, the natural one. We want to go into that one.
From their own farm?
Yes, from my own farm.
Now, stay tuned. You see what I told you, that, get your kids, because by now they finish university, they are probably all broken, dejected, and almost giving up. There's our opportunities. Stay tuned, we're coming straight back. Well, thank you very much for staying, but I'm excited. I'm being educated and getting all motivated all over again. Mabel, I'm interested in this cocoa farm. I mean, 100 acres, is it not too big?
It's okay. It's even too small for me now. And I bought the lands, so they are mine. I bought the forest lands and we planted it gradually. And we are there.
Wow. So at the moment you're doing cocoa, cassava?
We got palm. I have a palm plantation.
Palm. So this comes from your plantation?
This comes from the palm. This is pure zomi from Likpe.
Now, one thing I noticed, let me divert the conversation a bit, is that everything of your products, all your products will go organic on it. This is Gary. Gary says organic. Everything says organic. As in organic, no chemical fertilizer?
Nothing of that sort.
So how are you getting the yields then? Because, farmers are complaining, oh, we didn't get the fertilizer, our yields are not going to come. So how are you going to get the yields?
It's because the farmers are not being taught on crop rotation. If their ancestors, their grandfathers have used the land for so many years planting maize, the soil fertility will go down. So they always have to add inorganic fertilizers. And after every year, if you don't use inorganic fertilizer, you are not going to get anything at all. So they continue. But we have virgin lands. We started with virgin lands. And we decided not to add any fertilizer. So I do a lot of crop rotation. What I mean by crop rotation is after planting maize, harvesting the maize, I put in cowpea, I put in granules, I put in soya beans. And they have a huge concentrate of nitrogen that will replenish the fertilization of the soil. With the rice fields, it's taken over by water. After harvesting, the stalks remain. You plow back the stalks into the soil. As the water goes down, it mulches the soil. Where you see that the rice is not doing so well, there are a lot of cow dung. Where we are, we have the Fulanis with their cows. So they have a huge amount of cow dung. You can dump it on your field. You plow it into the soil. Even the rice husk that you remove from your rice after milling is also a source of mulching that will fertilize your land. And I don't see why they complain that if you don't fertilize your soil, you don't get the yield. We make the yield as any other farmer.
Really?
An acre, if you have to get 20 bags of rice per acre, at times we even get 22.
Without the fertilizer?
Without the fertilizer.
No, I say this because, the number of times you hear, peasant farmers complaining bitterly, for the fertilizer, and sometimes they even put politics in it. Oh, I didn't get it because I was this party color or that party color. And all that time they could have, planted by just, doing a bit of crop rotation.
They don't understand it that way. Their mind is so tuned to one crop that they don't think of doing intercropping. This year I did maize and I realized the rains were not coming. So I quickly planted beans, the black-eyed beans. And I was irrigating it once a week. And the yield was so fantastic.
Wow.
I've introduced basmati this year.
Basmati?
Yes, basmati rice. I got a seed from Nairobi,
Wow.
from the Kenya mountains.
Does anybody grow basmati in Ghana?
Nobody
No, 'cause
grows
I don't think
basmati.
so.
They think it's a rocky rice that comes in the Himalayan mountains and India and Pakistan. But I realized that every soil is good for every kind of rice.
Wow. Wow. Have you harvested yet, or you are yet to?
I'll harvest in November.
But it's growing.
It's growing. It's even the grains are on it now.
I see. Now you're impressing me. Now the cassava. I know you do cassava as well. So you use your own cassava for your own gas?
Yes.
And how many acres of cassava do you do?
100.
Wow. So how many workers do you have? Because I mean, there's just lots and lots of land, lots and lots of farms.
Yeah. With our workers, we have 32 permanent workers.
Okay.
But when it comes to the planting season and harvesting, we have the casual workers.
Okay.
Who are over 400.
Sure.
So they are by day workers that we employ just to come and help us in the fields.
I mean, let's go back to your husband. I mean, is there not too much work? I mean, this is lots of work, and it's hard work. Is he enjoying it, or is he wishing, look, let me just go back and do my statistics in inland revenue?
He enjoys farming. And because of his statistical background, he's able to put everything on paper. And even with the grains, we plant this kind of rice this year. Says this rice did not yield as expected. Next year, why don't we plant this kind? But I always want to plant rice that Ghanaians will patronize. And that is one thing that is killing the rice business. The Ministry of Agri goes in for rice that people don't like. Like the Tujimi, the Nerikes, the Togo Mashals, and they cannot match any imported rice. So when you harvest, nobody.
So it's just the type they plant.
Yes, it's the type. You see.
I see.
But then they are getting all the interventions from the stakeholders as grants, and we, the farmers, don't see anything from them. We don't get anything. We are always plowing back whatever we sell. So we are never moving forward.
Yeah, but let me divert again, we'll come back. But you know, as a woman, if you approach the chief or an elder and say, look, I want to buy 1,000 hectares of land, I mean, do they look at you like, where's your husband? Or I mean, are you serious? Or do they go ahead and do business with you?
They are willing to give me any land. Just last week, the chief of New Ago came to me that if I want to do dry season farming, he is giving me 500 acres of land by the river, Kwasa River, to cultivate anything I want to do. And I want to go into tomatoes and onions and, I mean, vegetables. Because I realize we are importing them from Burkina Faso.
Sure.
And Burkina Faso is a landlocked country. They don't even have the land. Yes, they are doing greenhouse farming, and we are buying it from them with safer. We have all our lands, we have all our rivers, and yet we can't do anything. All the countries surrounding us are sub-Saharan, they have deserts. Why can't Ghana produce enough to give aid to African countries that have farming? And even Ghana is relying on USAID to give them supplies. When they have only 2 seasons for farming, we have the whole year round for farming.
I mean, you've walked around the corridors of Agric, and I'm sure this question has come up so many times. I mean, what is it that don't let us realize the potential or put that much seriousness in there? Because I think the GDP was what, 0.
Yes, the GDP for Agric was 0.0%, which is ridiculous. You go to America, the backbone of American economy is agriculture. You go to even Europe, the backbone is agriculture. Why can't Ghana have its backbone being agriculture? It's because of the selfishness of our leaders who don't want to plow money into agriculture. when we were farming in Hohoi, we didn't have lands. It was a forest land. The Honorable Geshen Bediame of Nkwanta South came to us and said we were wasting our time and energy planting in Hohoi. And he sent us to the Nkwanta area. I saw the lands and I started shaking. Plain flat lands, they are wetlands, they were not utilizing the wetlands because they were not into rice. I went, he took us, held our hands to the chiefs. And as at now, everybody is calling us to come and use their wetlands. Because we've put the women into rice cultivation. And their husbands are realizing that they are sending their children to school after harvest. They are breaking down their switch houses to put up concrete houses.
Wow.
And when you come, it's a testimony there in Kwasa. And now we have vast lands in Mola, Damanko, Sibi, Obunja. All these are villages by the black voter and the River Oti. Which, if we are given help, we will transform the economy. I'm there to transform the economy of Ghana. Wow. I want, in about 5 to 10 years to come, we will stop importing rice. Because we are going to grow the best of rice in our country. For all you know, all the rice that is imported has been stored for over 20 years. And then when they are being brought to Ghana, they just add perfume. And we are patronizing it. Killing ourselves slowly. If I come to this, our brown rice, is this one, this particular unpolished rice. I had diabetes for 15 years. As I'm talking to you now, I am diabetic free. Because my food is always brown rice. Hypertension, I am no more hypertensive. This is a fertility rice. If you add it to your therapy, you are going to produce like pigs. It's the brown rice. And if we don't want to eat healthy, we'll continue to take medicine and pollute our system. As I sit here, my medicine now is water.
Wow.
I only take water, even with headache. I know I'm stressed out. That is why I have my headache. I drink a glass of water, lie in a dark room. Within 10-15 minutes, I'm okay.
Fine. But I mean, is it expensive or is it difficult to produce rice? What is the challenge?
The challenge is that we don't have machinery for rice. I have to use my own money to buy planters to plant my rice. I don't have a combine harvester up till now. You are renting a combine harvester and you don't get it because it seems it's the season for everybody harvesting rice. And we have just about 4 or 5 combine harvesters in the system. And I was a TSP for SADA, this SADA project. And if you mention my name as SADA, they will tell you that I'm a wonderful woman. I redeemed the image of SADA. Because they even gave us tractors, and then they came back for their tractors. Because they wanted to auction the tractors. Now, most of the people who took the tractors were businessmen. They were no farmers.
Dear.
And that was what broke down SADA. And they said we should buy the tractors. I looked, I said, where am I going to get 40,000 Ghana cedi to buy a tractor? I went to them, discussed it with them, and they gave it to me at a reduced price. So as at now, I have tractors working for me.
Okay.
I have my planter. I'm now looking for a combined harvester. Because very soon we'll be harvesting. And I can't go back to sickle. Last year I cultivated 1,300 acres of rice. And we had to harvest them with sickles. Ooh. And at the end of the day, everybody was sick. We had to leave 100 acres unharvested. And bushfire came and burnt it in January. And that 100 acres could have given us about 200 bags plus of rice.
Wow. Wow.
It got to a point I said, we are not threshing. Just harvest it and dump it in the warehouse. So that later on, when we are relaxed, we will do it. And you have to send so many people to the farm.
So, I mean, are you saying that if we had planters and combined harvester and our polishers,
yes,
we will be able to plant enough rice and supply enough rice? Is that the main stumbling block or something? Because
yes, it's a mechanization. How can you plant 1,300 acres of rice and harvest them with sickle? You can just imagine the post-harvest losses that you are going to get. Because picking the rice even from the water to a dry land for even the tractors to pass on it to get your grains, you lose a lot of grains on the way. But with the combined harvester, it moves even in the water. Harvest, stores it in the bank. When the bank is full, you send your fertilizer sacks, you fill them, and it goes back. And you can harvest that 300 acres within a week.
Wow.
Yes,
How long do you take it to harvest that 1,000?
2 months. So some of the rice were over dried. And you can just imagine sending about 100 people to the farm. You spend about 1,000 Ghana every day. Because you have to feed them, you have to pay them.
So it doesn't make it viable at all.
At all.
It's amazing because the $600 million that we import with rice, so I'm just imagining we could have used the $600 to buy
machinery for us. You see, and no banks are ready to give us loans. The interest rate, 35%, 36%, it will kill our business. It will kill our business.
But how did you start it? How have you gotten here? Because the amount of farmers, I mean, there's lots of farmers and they are all complaining and they are not doing half as well as what you do. I mean, look at your packaging. You say, I can even put it in Harrods and it won't be out of place.
Yes, it will.
It will not be out of place in Harrods. So how have you done it? What are you doing right that the others are not doing?
It's because I'm well educated and I'm able to push forward. When I see something, I talk. And when they see that I'm talking too much, then to close me, they have to help me. That is what is helping me. But nobody is bringing me money from anywhere. We are plowing back whatever we sell. And people will say, oh, she's been farming for that long. I've not seen her in V8. And she sits in public transport. I can't afford to buy a V8. My farm will collapse. I want to always be like the farmers. So that they will realize that I am part of them. I visit all the outgrower farms. I sit down with them on the farm. If something is not going on well, I instruct them on how to change and do it properly. And it's helping us. And at times, people come from Mofa to take the glory. Because they come to supply them with maybe a power tiller or something, and then they feel that is what they have done. But that is not all. We need help from the government. I was reading something last week, and I know a year later said, corruption will stop when women are put in charge. Because you cannot come and corrupt me. Something that I have started on my own small way and I've reached this far. Nobody can come and pollute my mind. If you bring me big money and say I want to be part of you, I will expose you.
Now this is impressive. Now, are there any new products that you're trying to introduce, or you're set now? You're doing your maize, your rice, your cassava.
Yes, I want to introduce high quality cassava flour to replace wheat flour, which is very expensive and which we are not producing in Ghana. We always import wheat flour. But high quality cassava flour is doing the same work that wheat flour is doing. And then we are importing ethanol. Meanwhile, we squeeze all our ethanol away. It flows away on the ground. But then if we have to do all those things, we need machinery that will start the processing on the farm. So that we will not lose anything.
Because your cocoa will give you ethanol.
Cassava.
Cassava. And I think the cocoa sweatings too
yes,
give you
it gives
ethanol.
potash.
Okay.
We get potash from
The cocoa sweatings.
Yes, yes. And a lot of Chinese companies are into the country looking for potash. Indian companies are looking for cassava chips for animal feed. We have everything, but all we think about is kokonte, gari, agbelimo. That is all we think about. And if you see our area, every Monday, the number of cargo trucks that come to load cassava, gari, to Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso.
Wow.
But they're not bringing us foreign exchange because they come to buy it in Ghana City.
Now, you mentioned one thing, which is actually how you're succeeding, and you said because I'm educated. Why aren't we attracting your likes into the farming business?
There are lots of them who want to come. I always get applications from those who have graduated from the universities who are ready to come and join us to work on the farms. But they don't see it to be lucrative because raising even capital to enter into agric is a problem. And without money, you can never do agric.
Let me take a break here and come back and find out land acquisition, because one thing that we always hear is land acquisition. Even though Mabel here seems to have a much luck in getting land, how about the others in the industry? Don't move. Well, thank you very much for staying, enjoying this beautiful conversation. But just before the break, I wanted to find out about land acquisition. Do you have any challenges? You don't seem to have challenges. How about the others? Especially because there's lots of women, you know. So then there's no problem, because we hear so much, oh, we don't get land, we can't get land, we can't get land. What's the story?
Where we are, there is enough lands, which have not even been utilized, virgin lands. But when you look at Accra, all the lands have been sold for estate development. So we cannot have farmers in this part of the country. But the chiefs, some chiefs are not ready to release lands. That is one thing I've realized. If they give you lands, they want to share with you 50-50. And that scares some of them, because they say, I don't have machinery, I'm going to do manual labor. And then the chief wants to share whatever I produce with me. Then I will not. But I've seen that most of the youth have migrated to Accra in search of non-existent jobs. In their villages, there are lands which can be utilized, but they will not do it. Like my husband's family, they have over 2,000 acres of land. He's the only boy. And a woman cannot inherit land there. He's the only boy, he can utilize all those lands. But because it's a forest land, we've decided to move to a grassland where we can do whatever. But we have decided to plant noni next year on their forest lands.
Wow.
And we'll do it gradually.
Wow. But, I mean, if someone has 5 acres of land, can you survive on 5 acres of land?
Yes, you can. You can survive on 5 acres.
Are you sure?
Yes, if you do the right, you use the right methods in farming. You have to do intercropping on your 5 acres. And the yield, you'll be surprised. Because there are times when groundnut is very expensive. You can plant a little groundnut on 2 acres, and I bet 2 acres of groundnut is not small money.
I see.
You see.
And so do you plant? You see, let's say you're going to do maize. How many times can I do between January and December? How many times can I plant and harvest my maize?
Twice.
Twice.
That's the main season, and then the lean season farming.
Okay.
But we should stop relying on rain-fed agriculture, because we are felling all our trees, and very soon rain will be very erratic. So we must think of boreholes on our farm, because every land has water. We must think of giving each farm a mechanized borehole. If you see that you are really into farming, they should give you, and not by a river, they should give you a mechanized borehole.
So then in that case, you don't have a problem?
No, you don't have a problem. You can find a farm 365 days in the year.
I think, are you making it sound simple, or that's what the actuality is on the ground?
That is the actuality. It's not simple at all, but that is what is on the ground. If we want agriculture to be very interesting, to attract our young men, then that is what we have to do. Give them mechanization. They don't need to have a tractor for each farm. They can form themselves into cooperative. Each cooperative has 1 tractor, has 1 reaper and a thresher, has a mechanized borehole. And we'll see how our economy will transform.
Let's talk. Let's talk about the products. I have here milled organic brown whole grain rice.
Yes.
So is that?
Yes, that's the
powder form of this?
for this one. That is roasted. So you can use it for akple, you can use it for papransa, you can use it for your porridge.
Because it's roasted.
Yes, because
Okay.
it's roasted.
So, like you make Tom Brown kind of thing.
Yes, it's just like preparing Tom Brown.
But it's a rice form.
Yes, it's in rice
Okay,
form.
so then this is the roasted maize meal.
Yes,
so
this is the maize Tom Brown.
This is the Tom Brown.
Yes.
Now, the packaging. I mean, where do you get this packaging from?
I got it from Tesco.
Ah, that's true. It looks very much like Tesco's. But, and how did you come about this? Because one thing that we really lets us down here is presentation and packaging. So where did you know?
I told you my uncle from the UK saw our packaging and said it wasn't the best. So he went back, got the art design done by Tesco, and we sent the art design to China. And they gave us different kinds of rubber bags. And we wanted the best that can preserve and protect the food that we put in. And that was how come we came with this vacuum bag. This one, you can throw it from job 600 to the ground and it will never burst.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So who are your main buyers at the moment?
At the moment, we have Max Mart, we have ShopRite, we have Formswell in Tamale, we have a big shop in Ho, and then Friends.
Okay. Okay, you are not exporting any yourself?
No, we have not done any direct exports, but we have people coming to buy it to the US, the UK, Germany, and so on.
Are you looking to do export yourself, or you're happy to just deal with?
Yes, I want to do export, but to do it first on the African continent.
Okay.
Before I go beyond.
Are there any particular demands that people come to you for? Or?
Yes, Gary.
Gary, yeah.
Gary, and then high quality cassava flour, and then the brown rice.
I must say, it does look very appealing. Is it the same Gary that I would have get in my Olunka, and it's in here now?
But this one tastes better because we don't ferment the cassava.
Ah, what's the difference?
The difference is that when you taste this one, it has a very sweet aftertaste. The fermented one has a sour aftertaste. That is the difference.
I see. I see. I see. What makes you? What made you use that trick?
If I don't like the sour aftertaste, so we had a training from food research, and they told us if you ferment it, that gives you the sour aftertaste. But if you don't, you process it the same day you harvest it, you don't have that problem, and it stays fresh for as long as you want it to.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Isn't that one wonderful, wonderful woman? So apart from the Volta region, are you moving out of any, are you branching out, or you are staying in the Volta region?
I'm staying in the Volta region.
Hey, your husband must be strong. Your husband must be very, very strong.
I enjoy the weather and everything about Volta region.
Yeah.
And I like Bobobo. Yes, so I enjoy being there.
What are some of the challenges? I mean, you've told us all the good, you know, I know the fun, but I mean, like on a daily basis on the farm, what are the challenges?
Snake bites.
Wow.
Snake bites, and, you know, the women don't have Wellington boots. The men always put on Wellington boots, and the women wear chalewote. So they always come across snakes. They buy them scorpions. So we have a project that we want to launch in 2016, whereby every farmer must have a Wellington boot and a pair of gloves, because harvesting the rice, you can be bitten by a scorpion or a snake, because when the place is very cool, snakes like to hide there. So that's number one challenge. And then we need money. We need money. We want the banks to, we are pleading with the banks to help us. To help and give us time. Farm agriculture, you don't give somebody a loan today and then you want it back tomorrow. You give the person time. Produce, process, package, market. and then pay you.
Let me move. This looks very appealing, and it says organic palm oil. Now, you know, anytime I go to buy oil, I just want to see zomi, but I don't see zomi here.
Yes.
I mean, is this zomi?
Pure zomi.
What does zomi mean anyway?
You know, we have two types of palm oil.
Yeah.
We have the natural palm oil, and we have the zomi, which is cooked with salt. The natural one hasn't got salt.
Okay.
Zomi is cooked with salt. In my case, I even add black pepper for the aroma to be different.
I see. And this is coming from the palm that you've grown?
Yes, it's coming
and then
from
you
the
process
palm.
it yourself?
Yes.
But how big is your processing plant? Because everything seems to be processed in there.
It's not that big, but then we do the normal manual processing. We have our daddy-sen, we have our firewood, and we want to transform it. And FAO is coming to our aid to help us with our processing.
Now, I know you were on the standpoint, and after that you got this massive contract. Yes. What are you supposed to do?
I'm supposed to supply the perfume, the jasmine rice, curry, and palm oil. And then I just got another contract for cocoa soap.
Wow.
The local one. That we use palm kernel oil and palm oil. And it's giving me sleepless nights.
I can imagine.
Because when you look, I want 20,000 kilograms of gari. And I want
a lot of cassava.
Yes, a lot. I have the cassava. But then I have to employ more people. Experts who will do that. And then they give you a time frame. And that is the problem with Ghanaian companies. We can't meet our timelines.
Wow.
We have the ingredients, but we can't.
So how are you going to make sure you don't lose this contract so that you'll be able to supply?
I continue to talk to them, so they've given me a little rope. So I hope to complete it by the 15th of October for them.
Then you have to start the next crop?
Yes.
Oh my God. So what do you need? Just more money or more helpers? More
money and more hands. So now I'm bringing on board even old ladies.
Everybody.
Everybody.
All hands on deck.
Yes, I want everybody to get some job to do.
Well, that's your camera, so appeal to the locals in your area that, look, you should come and help.
Oh,
that's one.
As soon as I call them, they are there.
You see now?
As for my locals, I'm not afraid at all. As soon as I call them, they are there. And one incentive is that we are trying to do this NHIS for them to attract more people to work with us.
Okay.
And then I'm bringing the brilliant children to educate them in Accra.
Okay.
So that they will also transform their community.
But wouldn't that turn them away from farming? They will all come to Accra and become more ladylike.
Oh no, they'll go back. They'll go back. I know the cucumbers are very hardworking. So if they are educated, they'll go back to help their community.
Well, Mabel, this has been an eye-opener, and I'm sure somebody watching out there has got some land somewhere, 5 acres or more, thinking, let me get up and go and do something, rather than just trying to run away from this country or sit at home and say, look, I have nothing to do. There is a testimony on its own. Mabel, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
And folks, until I come back to you with another personality, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you for watching.